You ever look in the mirror and think, I'm just average? Maybe you scroll through social media, see all these perfect guys with sharp jawlines and sculpted physiques, and you start to think you don't measure up. But what if I told you that physical looks only scratch the surface? That attraction, real attraction, goes much deeper. See, there's a kind of presence that can't be captured in a selfie. It's the quiet way you carry yourself, the way people feel when you walk into a room. You might not even realize it, but there are little signs, subtle things, that show you're a lot more attractive than you think. So today, I want to talk to you. Not like some motivational speech, but like a friend who's noticed what you don't see in yourself. Because real attraction isn't about being perfect. It's about energy, confidence, and how grounded you are in who you are. Let's get into it. Point 1. You make people nervous without saying a word. You ever notice how sometimes people act a little awkward around you for no reason? Maybe they stumble over their words, laugh nervously, or avoid too much eye contact. You think, why are they acting weird? But what's really happening is, they feel your energy. Attractive men carry a certain calm that exposes people's insecurities. You don't chase validation, you don't try too hard. And that silence, that stillness, makes people reflect on themselves. Some will be drawn to it, others will feel intimidated. But either way, your presence changes the room. It's not arrogance, it's just control. You're not reactive, you're observing. And that's magnetic, because most people can't stay composed when emotions rise. You can. And that calm confidence, that's rare. That's attractive. Point 2. You're hard to read, and that intrigues people. Here's something most men overlook. Mystery isn't a tactic, it's an energy. When you're not always explaining yourself, when you're not seeking approval, you naturally become mysterious. People start wondering what's going on in your mind. You're not oversharing, not performing, you're just being. That makes people curious, especially women. They start noticing your small reactions, your tone, your silence, because deep down, mystery feels like strength. And that's what makes you attractive. Not your words, but your restraint. See, we live in a world where everyone wants to be seen. But the man who doesn't need to be seen, who's fine standing in his own shadow, that's the man who catches attention without even trying. Point 3. You don't compete, you lead quietly. There's something powerful about a man who doesn't need to prove himself. You don't compare your success, your looks, or your achievements. You know who you are. You're focused on your lane. That kind of quiet leadership stands out more than any flex ever could, because people feel safe around men who don't compete. They feel respect, not tension. And women, they feel trust. Attractive men don't need to dominate others to feel strong. They just lead by energy, by example, by calm. It's that unspoken I'm good energy that makes people want to follow you. You're not shouting, you're not showing off, you're simply walking your path, and that's what makes others turn their heads. Point 4. You're selective with your time. You might not realize this, but how you spend your time says more about your worth than your words ever could. When you stop giving everyone access to you, your value automatically rises. Attractive men aren't always available, not because they're playing games, but because they're building something. They protect their focus, their peace, and their time like gold. You don't chase meaningless connections or force friendships that drain you. You give energy to what feeds your spirit, and that quiet selectiveness, people feel it. It's why when you do show up, people listen, because presence becomes powerful when it's rare. Point 5. You're comfortable being alone. You know what's magnetic? A man who doesn't fear solitude. When you're comfortable being alone, you stop acting out of desperation. You stop chasing people who half care, and you stop over-explaining yourself. You learn to move with quiet confidence because you found peace in your own company. Most people run from silence because it forces them to face their truth. You, on the other hand, sit with it. You've learned that solitude doesn't mean loneliness, it means self-connection. And ironically, the moment you stop needing attention is the moment everyone starts noticing you. That's power most men never master. Point 6. You make eye contact without fear. It's simple, but it's everything. When you look someone in the eyes, not to intimidate them, but to connect, it says, I'm here. I'm not pretending attractive men have grounded eye contact, not aggressive, not needy, just present, because presence is power. Eye contact reveals who's in control of themselves. The man who can hold it without breaking, without shrinking, that's a man who's at peace with who he is. And when you're that centered, people don't forget you. Your gaze stays in their mind long after the conversation ends. You don't chase attention, you command it silently. Point 7. You've been misunderstood or judged for no reason. If you've ever been judged harshly, envied, or disliked without doing anything wrong, that's not always a bad sign. Sometimes people project their insecurities onto those who make them feel small, and attractive men, not just physically, but energetically, do that without trying. You reflect back what others lack. That's why some men envy you, some women misread you, but deep down, they feel your power. Being misunderstood isn't weakness. It's proof you're operating at a frequency not everyone can handle. Stay grounded in that. Don't dim your energy just to make others comfortable, because one day you'll realize the ones who couldn't see your value were never meant to stand beside it. You see, being attractive isn't about being flawless. It's about being real. It's how your silence carries weight, how your focus intimidates, how your peace confuses the world. You might not see it when you look in the mirror, but the world does. The way people react around you, the nervous laughter, the sudden stares, the quiet respect, that's your reflection. So stop doubting yourself. You're not invisible. You're just operating at a level most people don't yet understand. Stay calm, stay grounded, and let your presence speak louder than your words. Because the truth is, you've been attractive all along. You just hadn't realized it yet.